Clintonism, what you finally have is what's considered the classic Marxian version of a revolution, because you have the workers represented by the kind of the disgruntled militia people who make it clear that they will not tolerate a anyone besides Trump. And to be fair, some of the hardcore Zionist people as well. And you also get the students going, "Hey, wait a minute! This is totally bullshit." They're finally recognizing the cancer that's been affecting the U.S. for the past fucking 33 years, and also get the you get out of all this a defenestration of the head of the Democratic National Committee, the head of the Democratic Party, and you kill two political dynasties. That is no small feat. And that's what leads to the crisis of credibility, which I'm getting into next time. But before that, I want to just... Okay, well, two things. Okay, first of all, while the Republicans obviously did seem like the most visible driver for the initial stage of the global war on terror, there is one thing I will posit that was also very important, which is before Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the other, back when the Democrats were still a minority, their head was Richard Gephardt. Now, Richard Gephardt, like Clinton, had presidential ambitions. Now, they might say, oh, this is to get popular support, but that's bullshit. I'll tell you why. It's because this is an AstroTurf movement, and they were operating in an environment that was increasingly centralized due to all these media conglomerates basically tying back to the same freaking people. Because of that, money becomes more important. But with the internet, money becomes less important, which is really funny and a good thing in a long run. That being said, they're trying to re-centralize it, social media companies, etc., etc. Now, the thing about Gephardt is he was the strongest. I think he was probably in the best position to push the Democrats who supported the war into supporting the war, even though many of them, out of party loyalty, reflexively opposed it. Now, many people will deny the role of the Israeli lobbies in promoting the war in Iraq, but here is the rub of it, and it goes beyond just Clinton, but she's a symptom of a greater problem. So when Gephardt basically lost his presidential run, he dropped off the face of the earth essentially. But when when it came time to announce the biggest recipients of AIPAC donations, Dick Gephardt got more money from AIPAC than anyone ever. I think that's a very strong indication of Israel lobby's quiet lobbying for the Iraq war. I think that's the smoking gun. You just follow the money. Boom, it's right there. He got more money than this is an organization that professes influence over 70% of the Senate. And out of everyone, he is their favored, their golden son, and he just goes poof. And then, you'll get these left gatekeepers enforcing the narrative that, because, if it came out that these kind of pro-Israel Zionist Jewy types were the people supporting the Iraq war, it would tear shit up. It really would. Like, if people actually took that into consideration. Because there you have the clash between the donors and what the base actually wants, including regular Jewish people. Yeah, according to Grant Smith, who discusses the self-appointed community leaders and the actual people. Which again shows that from top to bottom, this is all AstroTurf. There's no grassroots here. But, so, they promote this kind of centrism as common sense, but then they ingrain it with these fluffy ideas of human rights, and what we get is more and more of this failed neoconservative ideology from 2006 to 2014. And that leads to Clinton basically calling Assange some sort of vile anti-American misogynist, and he tries to lump Trump and Bernie into that too, lumps Comey in with it, who incidentally probably didn't actually have that much effect on her fucking losing, but God help these pathological liars. Let's just take one last look at Madam Secretary's policies that went so well. Let's talk about Libya, which had the great effect of bringing slavery back to Africa. Here's one story from the Time. Sunday Ibro had already run away twice and had been sold into slavery 3 times. By this time, his Libyan captors branded his face. The gnarled scar that covers most of his left side on his face shows a crude number 3. His jailer carved it into his cheek with a fire-heated knife, cutting and cauterizing it at the same time. In Syria, 50 people died in a suicide bombing on a Shia religious site. There's a military headquarters on the ground floor. A fruit stall was hit. There was black and oranges all over the floor. A reporter said that he can see a large number of charred vehicles, including a bus in the middle of the street, which is almost completely destroyed and overturned. The smoke is still rising from the cars on the side of the street. The casualties included 5 children and 29 civilians. And this is in addition to numerous similar stories throughout the Syrian war, including the kidnapping of 20 nuns, freaking nuns, the decapitation videos, and this is all stuff that Hillary Clinton basically funded, and then basically goes hands off when Islamophobia is rising. Of course Islamophobia is rising. You created these people, and then you refuse to deal with that reality, you awful fucking person. Nothing you say can mean anything after that. But hey, whatever. They still got the popular vote, so they can continue to deny certain things within reason. Although all you really need to do to get the popular vote is just mobilize people in large cities, and boom, you're done. So whatever. Also, the entire political primary system is based on trying to win the Reagan Democrats and these important states. If it wasn't for that, you'd just have socialists. You'd have an actual new left and socialists promising candy and blowjobs and whatever the fuck. But no, this entire shift rightward that's been going on for about 30 years is based on the strategy of how you win a presidential election. It's about pandering to that 49% of the white suburban part of the country that votes, that doesn't see that sees these things as a fun little hobby. And so just like they astroturf in reality, they astroturfed in the Syrian war. They got grassroots people, which were funded through proxies. They got a dude in England who, another person who never left England, like the freaking Bosnian people who promote this human rights fuckery. And then you have her getting the Saddamist cult, the MEK, to astroturf the Iranian community, it's essentially, like I said, a cult that engages in suicide attacks, sexual mutilation, and sexual repression, as well as separating genders. But hey, that's there are guys. I'm hashtag I'm with her. But these people, they're brainwashed to a degree. It was sad. So they got in Ashraf Hospital. There's a 25-year-old woman whose legs were amputated after an American missile slammed into the warehouse she was guarding. The doctor told me he never heard her complain. Even in this way, she's confronting the mullahs. And again, you can get the pay stubs from the Clintons. In Afghanistan, they just people want the freaking Taliban back, and you will not hear this from the regular media. In Bosnia, which she, rang her hands with Eli Wiesel, these supposedly precision-guided weapons, these smart weapons, hit an intensive care unit, destroying a children's ward while wounding several pregnant women who had the misfortune of being in labor at the time of the attack. Dragana Kristig, age 23, was recovering from cancer surgery. She just had a 10-pound tumor removed from her stomach. When the bombs blew shards of glass into her neck and shoulders, she said, "I don't know what hurts more, my stomach, my shoulders, or my heart." This shit sounds like it's made up, but these people have no shame. The Simon Wiesenthal Center, who's this lauded Nazi hunter, was built in Jerusalem on top of a cemetery. It desecrated graves. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's wars going on because, and the reason you get these videos posted up of rioting in everywhere from Iran to Syria is because they post it up and they get paid by the State Department. And again, the pay stubs are out there. I'm gonna put a bibliography of all this shit when I'm done, but I think that'll about do it today. All right, gamers. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and join us for the next part of IRgate to RUgate, Part 3, Failing Mommy. What broke the brains of many a rich white lady, and how the neocons embraced their inner wine mom.